Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the North American Smite Pro League. It is day number 1 of week number 2. Day number 2 of week number 2, actually. Or is it 3, 1, and 5?
It's
I like numbers 7. A lot. My name is Bart.
12,
That's Rory.
14.
We are hi-rez Bart and hi-rez Dry Bear, respectively. Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. We're moments away from our first game. It's going to be the Fat Chunks Assembling going up against Cognitive Prime.
Yeah, that's right. So Cog Prime is going to be coming out here today, facing off against Fat Chunks. Now, Fat Chunks has had this really interesting progression, right, where they've had a hard time getting started in the beginning. They're currently sitting at a 1-3. Cog Prime is 3-1. So Cog Prime is tied three-way for first place. So Snipe, Cog Red, and Cog Prime are all 3-1. Currently, Fat Chunks at the very bottom there. The only team lower than Fat Chunks is, of course, Dignitas at 1-4, but they play more matches. So if Cog Prime wins here, Fat Chunks goes to 1-4 and is tied for last place.
And, you know, the Chunks have been probably one of the most, if not the most entertaining teams to watch. Just the assassin supports and a lot of Fenrir and a lot of Cupid and Samshrew, you know, having big swings in his gameplay between the one Cupid game and the next. The whole thing's been very entertaining to watch.
Yep, and it really has. But they also pick those very aggressive styles. Fenrir.
That is the most respected fan I think I've ever seen.
That's a fist bump to a roar.
Yeah.
Respect, man.
So respect, man.
They're going to respond there with a Paul. That's going to be a shout out to Barracuda, of course. Now I want him to pick that up there. Now that leaves a lot on the table. It was Giannis on the table, John Quay, Nemesis, Hopwa, Mercury, Loki.
Maybe a Nuwa this game going to get through.
Maybe. Or it might be ignored, right? Snipe likes Nuwa.
That's right. I would expect Cognitive Prime to ban Giannis here, maybe?
Not only against Chunks, though.
It depends on what they
got to
value,
shut down
right?
Herwin. You're going to shut down Herwin. It's going to be
Okay,
Raw just
makes
for
sense.
Herwin. Herwin's going to be one of their forefront players, so if you can shut him down, it's great. Across the way, they're going to ban possibly a Loki here, although Anderson doesn't really like Loki. I imagine it would be something like a Hobwa, maybe. No, he doesn't really play. I guess Mercury's all that's left.
Mercury banned out. Giannis is going to be snap picked by Cog, calling it right now, and
Sure.
I get to see it before you guys do, and indeed it is. I mean, it was like Barracuda was sitting there, like, spam clicking it.
Yep.
Just to make a point. And so the return picks are going to come out from Chunks. They're going to take Loki, a very high priority pick, across both regions. And will they take the Nuwa? They're looking at her. They're considering it. They are indeed locking in Nuwa.
Wow. Across the way, 2 more selections to make here for Cognitive Prime. You can see by those beautiful glowing Cheerios on the side of the screen, dictating that there are 2 picks to be made. They're going to be hovering on Geb here. Not really all that surprising, considering the fact that you've got Jeff Hinla, and Geb is such a powerful character, very difficult to deal with, as we've seen throughout the first week and then the second game. Good Geb. Good Geb. But now they're going to be making a selection here probably for Hunter, I would imagine.
Yeah, probably Hunter with Apollo out. They're probably picking Rom or Ul here for
probably Rom.
Rom would be the general expectation here, but they could take Jean Quay as well off of the board with Giannis. And but this has been a very successful team. In fact, I would wager to guess, and this is, granted I'm pulling this out of the air, but if Giannis, Geb, and Jean Quay have been drafted on one team so far in the Pro League, I would wager to say that team has won every game.
Is Omega going to play a mage?
Omega? I mean, that would be indicated by the Jean Quay pick. Yes, indeed. I mean, he has played Ra, notably, as is the last kind of mage that he would actually play.
Right.
Tends to really pick Vamana almost always.
Yeah, bruisers.
Shots,
he loves bruisers.
But usually that bruiser, yeah, for sure.
Across the way, they're hovering on a mirror here. So they're going to lock this in. This could be for Aurora, honestly. Aurora does like his off-brand Guardians. Emir very hyper-aggressive, as is Fenrir. But, you know, here's the thing, right? Aurora's a very aggressive Guardian, and what facilitates that is the hyper-mobility of Fenrir.
Sure.
Emir's not mobile.
Or just inlane kill potential, which Emir does have. We'll see if he's going to be able to compensate for the fact that he is losing all of that mobility by not playing the Fenrir. Also not electing to go for something, you know, else strange, like Wandu and Naja and something like that. But Freya's going to be banned out by the Chunks. Final ban going the way of Cognitive Prime. We'll see what they elect to ban out here. They could ban out a solo laner or a mid laner, depending on where they think Nuwa is going to go, and it is going to be that Aoguang, it looks like, getting banned out from the mid lane. So they do think Nuwa will be going to the solo.
Well, you know, all 3 of the bans from Cognitive Prime are respect picks. I mean, they're basically saying Herwin can't get Aoguang or Ra, and Aurora can't get Fenrir, because Herwin is carrying these games. I mean, he's playing incredibly well, and if you try to take away his best characters, what's he going to do? And that's the question. Is he going to play Nuwa? We'll see. But now we're going to see Hoonbots locked in here for Fat Chunk. They're hovering on Osiris. This has actually been kind of critically acclaimed in the way that Osiris is still very, very good.
Yes, he is incredible.
All they did is they reduced a little bit of his attack speed per level, and of course make Chinsai slightly more expensive, but that did not change his overall effectiveness. He's also incredibly good against a lot of characters, namely even Loki.
That's right. Yeah, the Tether can be very good at spotting out where that Loki is indeed going. Now, taking a look on the side of the Fat Chunks here, Cognitive Prime's roster is locked in. They do have their Hunter available here, likely to be the Rom, would be our guess. They're going to, oh, unique, you're just so unique. This is the first time I've ever seen anyone select a reacting and then not lock it in. How did somehow you made it and it's awesome. You're
Vulcan.
The best, man. Great job.
You're gonna pick Vulcan.
Now, back to real life, where they are looking at Vulcan now as their final pick, and it looks like Cognitive Pride was right. It looks like we are going to have an Assassin Guardian lane most likely coming out, and it looks like Hun bots?
What? No.
What's our lanes here? Nuwa mid.
No.
Nuwa solo.
No.
Vulcan jungle.
They got no. It's Nuwa Hunter. They got to swap. They had to swap.
Oh man.
They're gonna Nuwa Emir long lane. Loki jungle.
What is this
Hoodbot
life?
solo.
Well, let's look at what they have. They have probably the highest damaging true assassin in Loki. They have probably number 2 in terms of burst damage in Nuwa on a mage. They have the highest damage base guardian. They have probably the next highest, not pure assassin with a giant teamfight ultimate, but massive burst damage out of the Hun bots. And then you have arguably, well, you have the highest potential damage of the game in Earthshaker from Vulcan on top of his high magic damage output. It's like an all-in 5 carry strat here from Fat Chunk, with Aurora the only one that's sitting somewhere under the carry potential. Well, Amir certainly does have an opportunity to take over games, but this is why you watch the Fat Chunks.
I love the Fat Chunks.
I also
They
love the
are
Fat Chunks.
really cool people. I mean, look at this. They're in the Pro League with the 5 other best teams in the entire North American continent in Smite. And they're like, it's just Nuwa and Hunter. It's fine.
Well, what does she have as a hunter, realistically, right? She does have every 5th hit rooting. That's a thing. She has massive burst damage, but this doesn't feel like
this is not a hunter. This is a kill lane. This is what this is. This is
not
a kill
old school
lane.
Nuwa, where you were running in hand still. This is going to be full on.
So they don't really have a major source of single target physical damage other than Loki, which is more of assassin style. There's no sustained single target damage, right? You're going to have Hoonbots and Soul Lane, which Hoonbots and of course the old Sun Wukong has actually had a lot of success in mid and solo. Before Sun Wukong got transferred to the new Hoonbots, he was actually one of the best mid laners in the game for League Conquest about a year and a half ago. And he's actually very, very effective. Of course, with the cone attack, you can clear the whole wave. You can use the Sacred Monkey bounce to kind of you get some damage harassment off. Same thing. I mean, Nausea can also do mid lane, and what you do is that you kind of use the bounce to clear the wave. The Sacred Monkey will clear the wave. The last bounce will go to the enemy god. You teleport to them and smack them with a crit, and then you can start to harass them down. So a lot of things you can do that with Hoonbots. Mid lane Vulcan going to have a lot of harassment and poke across the way. I mean, they have to worry about number 1 John Quay getting too tanky, Geb being too protective of the target they want to kill, and Osiris being there. But it seems like they got good control here. They got a good AoE stun from Nuwa, a stun knockup from Vulcan. They've got a wall freeze from Mir, and a good spread.
Of course they have good control. They have skipped all of the classes that don't have hard CC. They have no warriors, and they have no ADCs,
hunters.
right? I mean, they have no hunters. I mean, Apollo being banned out with only the Anhur still in there with a lot of CC as well, and I mean, you can make a case for Artemis maybe, but like they've just been like, you know what we don't need is physical damage. We'll just rely on assassins to do that. We don't need range.
I'm just excited. This is great.
But here's the problem.
Here's the problem,
Dry Bear, is that Giannis and Zhang Kui are just going to kite them forever.
Yes.
Like, they have to be close. I mean, it's a lot of melee damage for all their physical, so they can itemize against magical, and then they can go things like Adventurer's Blades, right, and just kite them forever if they can't slow them.
Yeah, so the wing blade's going to make a big difference there. First, and notably, got to be on a roar probably to pick up that wing blade. Probably going to see the same thing maybe for Cyclone Spin, just because they have a lot of slows on their side. But they still have hard CCs, right? They have the Thrown Axe from Uul. They're going to have the Demon Stun from Zhang Kui. They're going to have the Portal from Giannis, the Knockup from Geb, plus the Ultimate Stun from Geb, plus the AoE Stun from Osiris, plus massive slowing from Osiris, plus anti-healing low. They don't really have any healing at all on the side of Chunks other than itemization or lifesteal. But, we have seen, as we saw yesterday with Dignitas, every single time Snoopy initiated onto Lassus was able to out-physical in-hand damage them with those crits from Hoonbot. So it's going to make a big difference there. So let's hop into the match here. The first team you're going to see here is going to Cognitive Prime, Megatron in the solo lane. You've got MLC Stealth in the mid lane, Andinster in the jungle, Barracuda on the Hunter role, and Jeff Hinla the Guardian.
Ladies and gentlemen, show me the Chunks. They're going to be your blue team fighting on the bottom side of the minimap and right side, left side, right side, I was right the first time, of the Spectator UI fighting out of the Chaos side. Actually, this time they switched it up on us. They were like the away team always. But it is Cyclone Spin in the solo lane playing on Hunbots. You have Heroin in the mid lane on Vulcan, Sam, Shrew, or Na in the Hunter role as Nuwa. Aurora is the support on Amir, and UK Neek will be your jungle Loki.
I would, how does this count for fantasy? Because Samshu's not playing Hunter, so is there a new role we have to put into this?
He gets points for that role.
It's weird
Or
thing.
nah.
Oh boy. Well, then it's 2 people that are not playing the role. We've got Anister, of course, going to be hopping the jungle here with Osiris. Looks like there's none of the funny business you get to see in the beginning of the match, putting a turret down on the ground. Looks like, here's the thing, man. It looks like Herwin's going to be going down the same road we saw yesterday with that turret-style build of Vulcan. I'm not a fan of it. I'm a huge fan of Vulcan, and there's a lot of builds you can actually run with him. Currently, at a high level like Diamond, Masters, Conquest, you're going to be seeing Vulcan run either full damage, maxing out the 1, or kind of, a little bit of pen and CDR, and maxing out the 2, which is the turret. The turret build actually clears a wave and gets a lot of poke out of it, but the issue with it is that it doesn't really translate well, right? Because the turret's very squishy, easily taken out, and if you put all your points into the turret and the turret ends up going down, it changes everything for you. The whole dynamic of how you play the character is going to fall down. So we'll see how Herwind builds Vulcan here. I would imagine he's going to go down the turret build if he's starting here with his turret instead of the backfire, but it's an interesting start.
Well, the start is, starting here as the right and left side big camp's going to go respectively to the teams. No invades coming out early. In fact, no really aggressive warding coming out either besides this red ward off the side of the blue buff for the chunks, spotting out Cognitive's lack of rotation. Did Jeff use the hog there? I'm going to say yes, judging by their time to land. Didn't actually catch it. And a couple of wards off of the left side here, just to make sure that they're not going to get rotated on mostly from the Cog and the chunk respectively, not wanting to give up those early left side buffs outside of the blue. We are underway here in the mid lane where, Vulcan's going to do his best to stall out versus the Giannis here, but I mean, you got to think that Giannis should be able to hit the turrets plus the wave pretty easily with Unstable Vortex.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, it's an interesting start here. Left side, some aggression coming out a little bit on Barracuda, forcing him back away. But the problem with Samshu and Aurora right now is they're not going to have much control in the lane. Now, granted, you're going to get a lot of magical damage from Samshu. And of course, that Shining Metal does a lot. The minions are going to actually help keep the wave alive. That's one thing to keep in mind as well, is that it's going to be tough for Barracuda to actually box out Samshu once the supports leave, because the minions will, the Clay Soldiers, of course, that Samshu will spawn, will block auto attacks from the enemy hunter. And of course, have a lot of burst damage plus a stun, plus the ultimate that keeps Samshu alive and also prevents him from being attacked from Barracuda. So I'm curious to see what the dynamic's going to be like once the supports start to leave.
Unique running into the mid lane here, Stealth, but not going to find any damage onto Stealth. In fact, Stealth too stealthy for the Stealth carry.
Whoa.
Omega going to take a nice crit there from Cyclone Spin, but not too much doing besides that. But there you can see the Hunbot's clear potential, just so strong, actually getting ahead in levels over Omega. The red buff going to be picked up now by MLC Stealth. He's going to help out Andy with the backside XP camps. Gonna not actually leech anything away there, as the Bombas Mass is going to help them split that more and more efficiently. In the meantime, Herwin going to go clear the red buff with his jungler as well. So parity around the map as, we are still all squared in terms of gold and XP.
Right side, C-Cycle has been maximizing on that very effective hit chain from a character like Hoonbots. AoE damage, of course, overhand smash can come through. Usually likes to just go through. There's a Sacred Monkey to blink. There's damage come out, forcing Omegatron to try and trade here. And Hoonbots actually doing a fantastic job of kind of pushing back this lane. I actually do like the Hoonbots laning mechanics. It does actually have a lot of merit to it. So we'll see how this does work towards the later stage of the laning phase and transition to mid game, because it's going to be very difficult for them to really do anything.
That's a build on Omega right there. Look at that. That is a steel mail.
Yeah, I mean, he's going against a physical jungler and a physical soul laner. Why not?
Yeah, grab a quick Breastplate of Valor on the Zhonghui, most likely. Maybe going to be a Mail of Renewal. That's a very popular item, especially for targeted Prime.
Yeah, we'll see. Unique now coming through the jungle here, looking to harass the mid lane a little bit here. Stealth doing his very typical stealth thing where he just sits back and farms a whole bunch. You see that.
Actually, that item doesn't build in the Renewal. I'm an idiot.
No, it's pretty just going to be a Breastplate.
Yeah, it's going to be a Breastplate of Valor for sure.
There's no control here in the lane for MLC, so backing up toward this tower. You can see that there's actually no points being spent into that meatball for Herwind. Look at the damage numbers. I'll have to see the next wave to see if he's actually maxing out his 2 or his 1 in response. Mid camp's going to take on the right side. They are going to go to Chunks. The left side will go to Cog Prime. And looks like Barracuda's been left alone in this lane for a pretty long time. Samshu is currently sitting at 2,600 gold across the way. Barracuda's at 2,500, so a 100 gold differential.
Oh, they're going to go into the Barracuda here. Actually, they're going to find the CC Chain Slow coming out as well. Leap forced away, and actually the root shot from Samshu going to miss there just barely on the back end of that. Almost had a kill set up for themselves there, but you can see just the amount of pressure they can put on a Barracuda. But with his early lifesteal and the death toll, he's going to be A-okay.
What is Samshu going to build? I imagine he would just build standard Nuwa. And this can have been a reaction from Chunk saying, hey, Nuwa's available, let's take her. Where can we put her? I don't know, Samshu, take her.
Yeah, we need Nuwa. Samshu, please. But judging by their picks to date, I mean, this seems like it's likely something that they were planning. I mean, so the reason I feel that way is because Prime banned out Aoguang.
Right.
Right when it would have traditionally been very clear what the lanes were at that point.
Yes.
And they still banned out the Aoguang, and it looks like that's a little bit of a scouting coming out.
Well, we'd have to see. You have to ask him and talk to him. Right side, we see Cyclone Spin taking a little bit of damage here from a Megatron. Yuki's in the area, and it's sort of throw out that flail. No response from Loki here. Yuki's not going to jump on top of that one. Going to let it slide on through. Head back into the jungle and try to clear out the buffs. So you can see Anderson's looking to steal this camp away. Although Herwind is in the area, ward placed on the ground. All-seeing eyes coming out there as they do rotate over. Those diamond minions on Nuwa look so majestic. As it closes out the wave, the root will come out. Of course, the blue buff will be on the ground shortly here. Look at the numbers you can see on the graph. 45 gold and 540 experience. Effectively, this game has not taken off yet, but it looks like Cog Prime's getting a little bit more experience. And that's just because they're splitting it better on Barracuda and Jeff Hilla, right? Jeff Hilla's roaming a lot. Aurora is very static in this lane.
Cyclone Spin, Anderson has a decent angle on him here. There's the slow coming out. First load axe, not going to hit. Ultimate's going to be used by Omega, but pushed back by Cyclone Spin. Yeah, didn't spend any time thinking about that one. Was like, I need to live here now. Let's go back to Omega's build, where once again, swinging and whiffing on what the itemization is going to be. This item only builds into Sovereignty, Mystical Mail, and the Midgarian Mail. It's actually on this tree, so I would say it's, at this stage, unlikely that he finishes this item in the early stages of the game, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, they'll probably sit on this, just what is it, 400 HP, this thing? No, 200 HP and the 40 physical protection. That's where the 4 came from.
It also helps with the minions and, of course, diving the tower, right? And I think that's why we saw Cyclone Spin actually pop his ultimate response there, because they knew that since he had picked up that steel mail early, it means he's able to dive the tower a lot easier. In the mid lane is going to be popping up that shield there. There goes the Geb. Nope, going to pop the shield and avoid the damage.
There goes the stealth.
There's ultimate coming out for Geb. Damage coming out. Anderson's on top of it. The sun's going to land here. Aurora cannot get out of range in time. There goes the hit. Vulcan ultimate come through. It's going to hit stealth in the back here, dropping him pretty low. New ultimate coming out as well. A lot of AoE range damage. Blocking him in is going to be Aurora, the beautiful play. The portal should get the kill here. Indeed, it will. Stealth can pick off Unique. How did that end up as a kill for Cog Prime? That's weird.
Giannis. Sustained fights against Giannis. Just really, really tough to deal with the amount of damage he puts out, plus the CC he can bring to a single target in terms of his zone potential plus ability to kill people. I mean, it's just such a strong god right now, and you know, it's hard to say, right? Because it seems like Giannis's damage is so dishonest. Like he's just just spamming it out there. But you know, he is such a finesse style of god in the top level of play, where it's almost just as much about your decision making with your portal as so much as it is your accuracy with your abilities.
Sure, yeah, the accuracy really makes a big difference, but you know, he does have a lot of spread on them as well, so it's not always the hardest thing to do it. We're gonna be looking at that as we look through the game to progress onward here. Boost done for Samstreet and Herwin, both gonna pick up the penetration there. We do have Morningstar up speed, picked up by Cyclone. Good wall there from Aurora, blocking in sort of into turret range, actually taking a little bit of damage there. Herwin taking a shot from Unstable Vortex. The Gold Fury is warded by both teams here. No sentry wards coming out just yet. They're both kind of holding on to their early vision and early gold, not committing to 135 gold versus the 50 gold of a single ward. They just want vision of what the enemy team is doing. They're not really concerned about countering the vision just yet.
Well, this is where it gets a little interesting, right? Because, like, take a look over in the left side lane. Now it's going to be Shamshrew up against Barracuda, where Samshrew doesn't have really any kill potential, seems like, on a Barracuda. Barracuda should be able to chip away at Samshrew and make an aggressive play. But I think the big difference maker here is the Giannis' ability to rotate over. If Samshrew tries to get aggressive, Giannis is going to be able to blow that up really easily without a natural escape on Samshrew, who's pretty ugly. But yeah, taking a look at the Gold Fury here, they got a lot of damage from that Amir ultimate. So good at securing it early. MLC Stealth will kill Aurora with a shotgun. Giannis Unstable Vortex to the face. A second kill, second blood of the game, also going to MLC Stealth, and fantasy owners around the world rejoice.
He hogged in the throes of death. Like, he was just dying in the animation and hogged as his last possible breath. What a play there by Aurora, waiting for the last possible second. Issues in her way in the mid lane. There goes a good ultimate from Jeff Hinla. Damage coming out from LC South. Gonna be enough to take him out here. Killing spree for Stealth. Big pickups. He's currently sitting 3-0-0, giving me more and more fantasy points. Actually, I don't have him this week. Never mind. I'm getting no fantasy points from that.
None for you. Getting pretty deep here is Andy taking a peek at the orange buff. It's going to be coming back up online. It was a little bit early to go for that steal, but now it's Jeff warding it in, and they're going to see this is respawning, but they're moving back towards the mid lane and won't be in position to contest it at this point. So a little bit of just a slight mistiming there. It's going to cost them a ward. Granted, they will get some decent vision of rotations to the right side lane coming out of the base, but definitely not what you ward there for.
Upside, we do see Samchu actually getting a pretty good clear on the lane, even though Barracuda now pushing up aggressively here. Looking at the numbers right now, you see Barracuda is sitting at 4,600 gold across the way. Samchu's at 4,800. It's actually winning lane pretty effectively. And it just comes down to the fact that, they can clear around the same speed, but when it comes down to blows, Samchu has minions to protect him, and of course does have that range damage and the fog to keep him away from the basic attacks. The other thing to keep in mind as well is that the minions do count as last hits, so he will be able to stack up that Devourer's Gauntlet a lot more quickly, just because 2 minions every wave. Bonus allows him to do 8 total instead of 6 total every wave he gets the last hit for.
Heavy hammer on Osiris.
Oh boy.
Because the kit that has infinite slows on short cooldown needs more slows.
Well, the problem is that you're going to hit DR, right? Because, if you heavy hammer first and then throw out your sickle, it's going to have DR on that. If you're going to have his 2 with DR on top of that, the slows are just not going to
Left side lane, well. Barracuda to die here to unique rotation coming from the jungle. Samchu bursting him down fairly well there, and down he will go, taking a spill. And I suppose that for Samchu, early damage items, play super safe, big ultimates. He's not going that infinite cooldown build. Well, maybe he is. It still remains to be seen if he will go into that Chronos Pendant.
You still need damage from the hunter person. Yeah. Whatever it is that fills that role, right? You're going to get a lot of gold from the long lane. You need to build up a lot of damage. So mid and late game, you can kill people. I doubt he's going to go for that CDR build. It's something more of a solo laner kind of thing, or maybe even a mid, but not if you're going to play, Nuwa in place of that hunter, you need damage to replace it with.
Yeah, I suppose it's just that idea that it's just if she ever hits him with the combo, he's going to be nearly dead, and it makes that Loki have a high amount of synergy there. But yeah, you saw that successful rotation coming out of the jungle from Unique, where he and Andister have, both of their works cut out for them here. I think both of them become very intrinsic and very, not intrinsic, sorry, that's not, very pivotal in the win for their team. Andy has struggled actually a little bit here in the Pro League, I want to say. High GPM, has a nice KDA, and their team's doing quite well, but it's not the typical style of Andister play we've expected with that super dominant take over the game, presence that he normally has. And Unique on the other side has, I think, maybe been overperforming a little bit better than people thought he might be here. Doing a nice job. I mean, granted, once again, the team hasn't found maybe as much success as they wanted, but Unique has been put into some awkward roles, and their team comps have always been, a little bit off-brand, but still managing to find his kills and his gold.
Well, it's also the same thing, right, where you look at Unique, and he came into the first match that he played, had 12.0 KDA, so he definitely came out strong. That's kind of tapering off now and saturating. Same thing goes for Andister, but you'd expect Andister, like you were mentioning, to have maybe like a 4.0 KDA, that kind of thing, a little bit higher aggression and more kills, especially as the game goes onward into late stages, where he really, his farm kind of scales up. He's one of the most effective farmers in the jungle role in general, and that's really what allows him to skyrocket upward. Yeah. We're going to see Barracuda actually elect to finish Greater Purification before his boots. He wants that CD or the CC reduction, just make sure that he's not being locked out, especially against an Amir and a Nuwa, plus a Loki and a Humbot's ultimate. There's a lot.
It's actually an interesting game for Cog Barracuda here, because he has a it's not really a hard choice, right? The expectation here is he's going to pick up a Sprint 3 on the back of this, but there's a good case for buying an Aegis in this game.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of damage. You're going to avoid the Nuwa ultimate, you're going to avoid the Vulcan ultimate, you're going to avoid the Vulcan damage, you're going to avoid the, especially if it gets the greater Aegis, right? That it can be used inside of CC. You'll avoid the Loki ultimate as well. It'll keep you kind of kept down in a lot of situations. You try to escape, and then the follow-up's going to be too much. Even the dot from Vanish will finish you off, so it's hard to be able to look at that. Samchu's going to take his full advantage of this long lane Sanctuary and actually pick up a Book of Thoth here. Ultimate coming out from Giannis. Damage coming out. He's not going to hit no one there. Ball's going to land on top of Andister as he goes through the portal. Knocking him up. Portal on top of Aurora. He's going to have a wall shortly here to be able to keep himself safe. Everything is okay here for Chunks. But yeah, Samchu's going to go for that Book of Thoth.
Awful pretty meatball there coming out from the Vulcan to prevent Andy from being able to go through that portal and try to reinitiate it, and then the wall coming in as well, blocking them off. Amir maybe showing some headway as a nice counter to Giannis here. Put the wall up, prevent them from going through portals, or block them when they come through a portal. There's some interesting things you can do there, certainly.
Definitely. A lot of control you can go with. Goal Theory is up here. Looks like Chunks wants to try and force it. Nice Unstable Vortex, hitting 2 from Stealth, hitting Yuki and for a win simultaneously. Samchu forced out of the fight there by the Jeff, the Sex Hinla, as the Gold Fury is going to be started up here by Cog Prime. Barracuda going to try and clear this one out. Aurora look for the stun, not going to find it. Of course, Andister is in that Ghost form, increased movement speed. Will be his call to fame. We've got a rotation coming out on the right side from the Omegatron with that Junk Quay. Yuki dropping very low here, damage coming out. There's the stun possibility, going to avoid it there. The Glitch Strike hit the ground. Samchu's coming through. Does he have an ultimate available? He does indeed. Might start that off pretty shortly here, I would imagine. Damage on Aurora, forcing him back. Crossbow comes out Jeff Hinley with the ultimate, trying to slow this down here, but Jeff Hinley has to be on top of this gold for ready to execute. When the time comes, Aurora getting closer, who's going to get it? It's going to go to Cog Prime, but only just. Aurora going to go down to the damage. I'm definitely going to take him out there. Looking for Unique. Boombot's ultimate to spread him upwards. Omegatron pops the CC immunity. There goes the kill. Kill on Omegatron as well. Big plays coming out from Chunks. There goes the kill on Aurora in the beginning. It's a 3-for-1 exchange in favor of Gold Fury, but was it worth it?
Well, you know, they recoup most of the gold and they come out ahead on experience, so it probably, strictly speaking, not worth it, but
sure.
Let's see what they can capitalize on here, because they do have Samstreet pushed all the way up here to the tier 1 with an immense amount of clear. They're going to be able to seal the blue buff, and if their timers, they're keeping and paying attention to them, the orange buff will be coming back up here in about 15 to 20 seconds. Plus, Unique is going to be able to push this wave in the tower, so they should get a tier 1 off of this, which will make the gold a wash. We'll see. Yeah, in fact, they actually will come out ahead on the gold and now on experience as well. Definitely worth it, considering they're able to capitalize on those, well, pickups.
Ooh, stun on Barracuda, dropping him low here. Cyclone Spin is still in the area. Is Barracuda going to get greedy? Kind of uncharacteristic for him. Damage coming out. Cyclone Spin jumping on top of this. Overhand smash is going to land. Looking for the jump. He's going to be able to jump away here. New ultimate is not available, but wouldn't come off anyway. Oh, ultimate come out from LC Stealth. Gonna hit. Samstreet forcing it back. There goes the fog. They need a little bit more damage to take this down here. There goes the dash from the minions, but they're not looking for it. Unfortunately, they don't have a new ultimate.
Yeah, that likely would have killed him. But I mean, you saw just how much damage that new ultimate did do with the Book of Thoth. I mean, the thing does scale, and the fact that it does scale means that if you build up enough magical power with something like a Book of Thoth that's very successful at building magical power, it can hurt early stage of the game. Now he's likely going to be going into, here's where it's interesting, right? Do you rush right up to Hootie, or do you pick up Chronos Method here? We'll take a look at his in-hand gold sitting on only 26, so no indication there based on his desire to purchase or not, but only about 500 gold remaining to finish off that Chronos Pendant at this point. That would be my guess. It's just been a popular item so far. Let's also check back in here with Omega in terms of builds, who has gone that ethereal staff on top of the pen boots and still sitting on that steel mail.
Steel Mail going to be left alone for quite a while, I would imagine, just getting that actual HP. But of course, that 200 HP will combo with the Ethereal Staff. Looks like he just doesn't want to delay his build any longer and go for Warlock Sash. And we're seeing that more and more with a lot of mages. They just go for the Ethereal Staff just to buy themselves some farming time to get gold instead of worrying about stacks and going across the maps between the team is needed. At this point, Herwin's actually going to go for the Bancroft's Talon first, which means that he's not going to go for a stacking item, at least early on anyway. Going to be going for a Rod to Hootie next, or possibly a Chronos Pendant. Actually, that's going to be a Chronos Pendant, plus the Bancroft's Talon. A little bit weird, though. A little bit lacking on pen.
Yeah, just the boots for now. Obsidian Shard likely to be the next item on top of that, you would think. But the Thoth done here for Samstreet is really where a lot of the damage of the chunks is coming for now. And that ultimate's been available for some time. And, you know, it's like, I think he's probably trying to hold it until he finishes off his CR, maybe? I don't know. It's a tough one. But he has enough gold basically now to go back and get Chronos Pendant if he is indeed going to go for it. But we'll see what he does. Barracuda's recalling in that lane, so this would be the time for Samstreet to go. Maybe clear one more wave. We will find out soon enough.
Looks like Anderson's actually going to go for chin size right out of the gate after finishing off that heavy hammer, so we're going to start picking it up here. And now we're going to see Giannis is in the mid lane, going to push it out, and now we're going to be able to clear it through. So Jeff Hinla going through the jungle as well. Fire Giant is still standing, and the vision is completely controlled here. Looking for damage on Cyclone Spin, but there is 3 players in the area, now 4, as we do see a rotation coming out from Hurlwind on the side of the Chunks. MLC is looking for something, but I don't know if they're going to find what they want.
So Jean-Quay, Geb, and Giannis has been played 1 time so far in the Smite Pro League based on my earlier assumption that this comp has never lost. It's played 1 time, and it lost. That was earlier today when Coast lost.
RIP.
So there goes, well, all of my credibility in the Smite community.
Well, time
go ahead
to
and retire. Yeah, I'm done.
Time to resign.
Going home. Have a nice solo cast.
Well, sometimes it just, you really have to like kind of just throw out that thumb blast and hope you got the stats right, but sometimes it just doesn't work out.
That's right. Life is hard.
It is hard. Definitely is hard. That's going to be it. So chin size is going to be finished off here for Endister. Barracuda is going to be looking for execution, I would imagine. And now we do have a Jotun's Wrath coming up shortly here for Cyclone Spin on top of the Heartsinger as well. So we're going to have the same thing for Unique as Cyclone Spin. Just heavy physical damage across the way. The only physical damage protection they have is going to be that Sovereignty and the Sovereignty Aura for teammates, and of course a Megatron sitting on that steel mail. So I'm still very curious how this Chunks lineup is going to work going into late game.
Well, looking at the lineup, right? Loki's going to be doing nice burst damage until hyper late stages of the game. Amir obviously will fall off in the jungle role until he maybe gets a Soul Eater back online. Newall will continue to do massive amounts of damage at that stage. Vulcan will be very effective. He is actually one of the better late game mages, I feel like. The meatball's just such good harass, and when it's doing 700 damage a pop, it's really nasty. And Hunbot's, of course, one of the top late game gods. Over on the side of Cog, Uller, with his stem, will be very potent at that stage of the game as well. Osiris will turn into hyper carry around the 25-minute mark, we'll say, once chin size are done now. Maybe once you get a crit item online or an execution or more attack speed, something like that, or even defensive item, urgent coming out after this would be the standard build. Junkway will be strong as well until the hyper late game. Even there, he stands up pretty well with his burst damage, so the damage over time just falling off. It's tough to say who has the clear advantage in the late game here, although I am inclined to side with the Giannis Uller.
Portal on MLC is going to run right into the enemy. There's something coming out from Cyclone Spin. He's going to portal through again. Whobots wants the distance. He's not paying attention. He gets the kill. Cyclone Spin will find the kill there on the backside for MLC Stealth. Now Jeff Hillen's in the fight. Ultimate come out from Vulcan. Going to hit Hinla, knock him up. Going to force him away with that meatball. He's got the distance. They got the wall. They've got the kill. Jeff Hillen's going to drop here. I would imagine that shield's going to come down. Will it buy enough time? It will not. Samshu gets the kill there. Now looking for Samshu. He will fall. Barracuda's still alive. The monkey will not have the reach. Aurora's still in the jungle and putting down the turret. It's going to be Heroin. Yuknik now going over towards the goal. Fury trying to take this out. Two members still on the field here for Cog Prime, Anitzer, as well as Omega, but they're pretty healthy here.
Yeah, left side looks like the chase is off for now as Cog is falling back. Omega making a rare rotation out of his lane. Oh, so rare to see the solo laners over there. But Samshu melted in that fight, but still does have the 5 assists to his name. 1-1 and 5, 2-0 for Cyclones, but as well as he actually picks up MLC Stealth, as you mentioned in that fight. It's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of the Chunks. Golden experience-wise, there hasn't been a lot of change. The experience has been recouped to some extent by Cog, but the Chunks have held on to their gold lead to the tune of about 1,500.
That's a very strange situation for MLC, right? He's like, no one's going to jump over the wall. I'm fine. I can just hang out here. And all of a sudden, jump over the wall. His Cyclone Spin in that kill there. So that kind of set the pace of the game. Realistically, what it came down to is, you know, MLC by himself in the mid camp. No vision of the Gold Fury. Got surrounded by 2 players. Initiation from Aurora forced him to pop all his cooldowns. Of course, that made that his Purification Beats was on cooldown. Went through the wall and then ran into 3 more members of Chunks and had to go through the through the back wall and then still died to Cyclone Spin. So it's hard to win a fight on the side of Cog Prime when your mid laner starts the fight by using all his cooldowns to escape.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you can force someone to do that, it definitely will work out for you. But I mean, if you dump every one of your spells to escape, obviously you're going to be in an awkward situation if they're able to catch up to you. And maybe that's one of the best things that Humbots is able to do, right? I mean,
sure.
The Chunks, they have decent picks against the Giannis, I feel like. With all of his escapes. And even if he uses everything, right, the Amir Wall can be effective, as can the teleport from Hunbox.
Right.
It's a timer-based, not a distance-based thing.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the timing really makes it a difference, right? And you look at it as the game goes on, a lot of characters change during game state, right? Some characters are good early, some characters are good mid, some characters are good late, and there certainly are characters that exist that are good almost the entire game long. You know, Apollo's one of them. He's literally the same character the entire game. He just, you know, happens to get better. You know,
right.
And it's not like he was bad before. It's just that he is just that much better compared to how great he was in the beginning of the game. So that's just kind of how we're dealing with it in this current game state. But you know, and you look at the lineup here for Chunks, that really isn't reminiscent of a build or team comp that we're used to. I mean, you look at it and you're thinking, you know, how is this really going to come together when it's 50 minutes, everyone's full build, and you're looking for a pick?
Yeah, it's been an interesting game so far, too. I mean, the pace of the game has been pretty interesting, right? Because I feel like the lanes broke pretty early in this game. And since then, you know, well, I'll take your opinion on this one, Driver. What do you think's got the better comp once the lanes have broken?
You know, they don't really have a whole lot of pick potential in the way of Cog Prime. It's going to come down to how much damage Stealth is doing late game. But there's a lot of avoidance they can have there aside of sticking to the fight. I think there's enough pick potential on Chunks and enough control that if they get late game full build, I'm going to actually give it to Chunks, but it's going to come down to Cog Prime and how well, like there's more pressure on Cog Prime to have a good team fight than there is for Chunks, right? Because Chunks has a lot of counter initiation, they have a lot of burst damage, they have tons of damage. So if Cog Prime missteps, they're going to lose kills. Yeah,
but I mean the late game hyper carries, Cognitive definitely has the advantage there. Giannis and the Osiris notably, in addition to the War, will all be putting out probably the top 10 in the game at the end here. Chunks will pick up the gold here, and here comes the rush down from MLC Stealth. This time not finding any kills. Taking to the sky is the Nuwa, giving vision of everybody. Hinla, the one in a lot of trouble as he tries to escape. Who's going to pop 2 and try to take out Samshu. Ultimate coming out, not before Hinla does go down, but he's going to his life for it. Her1 finds a kill to MLC Stealth. Now it's Anderson jumping in onto Aurora, who awkwardly is stuck in the wall there. Slow coming out and over the top with the player finding that kill. Cycle Spin kills Barracuda, but in return will die to Omegatron, and it is a 3-for-3 trade. And an ugly one at that. It was all over the map.
You can tell Psycho's plan really understands who bots they're able to kind of make a 2 versus 1 into a kill death opportunity, right? Because he was just dead to rights. So there was no way he was getting out of that fight. But he decided to turn around, overhand smash, cut the animation into a crit, into Sacred Monkey, teleports to avoid a basic attack, and then gets another basic attack after the fact for another crit. Beautiful play by Cyclone Spin, and if he made a single frame of mistake in that situation, he would not have gotten the kill on Barracuda and would have died himself. So a beautiful play by Cyclone Spin, earning himself a rifle 1-for-1 trade. This game, so far, we're 9-8 here. Gold actually pretty much in favor of Chunks here, 2,000 gold and 700 experience. And you think with this build, the way they're running, they're looking for a mid-game lead, and it's actually starting to pick up.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they have the Obsidian Shards coming online. They have the Chronos Pendants done on their mages, so a lot of cooldowns available. These extended fights will go in their favor, even though Cog is looking in a lot of ways for those extended fights.
Sure.
I mean, it's not like Osiris does a lot of damage in a short period of time, nor does Zhang Kui once his number 2 is down. He's a lot of card and a lot of ulting to do his damage. And Stealth really their only true burster. Barracuda not necessarily ever going to get to the point where he's being an ability burster, even on the Ullr. So, yeah, this is probably the strongest period for the Chunks. So getting their big items online, they're going to get their penetration up. They have their Morningstar out onto Unique here as well. I'm sorry, not Morningstar. It's the hi-rez star is what it's called. It's interesting. That's a morning. It's a polearm and it's called a star. I don't know. The whole thing is fucked, boys. But
we know our weapons pretty well, don't we?
Yeah. The hi-rez.
They probably asked Odin how to use it.
Hey, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
It's because he hits people with the flat of the blade, right?
Banks him with a spear. It's just delightful. Look at this right now. We can see Magic's Blessing picked up here early by Aurora, but you know we're gonna go ahead and look at Samshrew, who has been a hit or miss. Right, his first game was pretty poor. Then the next game he picked Cupid and played very well here. Wait,
look at that smoky look on his eyes, though.
Are we comparing hunters?
Lady killer. What a lady killer that guy is.
Nua's not a hunter. What is he doing? What is he doing? What is this world? 376 GPM is not really that great. Then again, his team has been losing. But you can see overall, I mean, even that he's got 25% win-loss, 1.1 KD and 376 GPM has not really been super successful for Fat Chunk. And this may be in response to that, right? I mean, so far, Samshrew has not been playing perfectly as a hunter. Very hit or miss, kind of few and far between. So why not just give him a character that he's diamond with, Nua, and say, hey, play that character you like.
Go nuts, dude.
Do it.
Yeah, you know. I don't know. I just look at that and all I can see is Barracuda and Samshew's face, and it just. I feel like I know everything.
It literally, like, I just want Samshrew to play Cupid every game because he is Cupid.
Yeah. With
those baby eyes and that smooth baby skin.
Yeah. Little known fact: Samshrew actually 37 years old.
Really? Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. He's gonna be like deeply like Cherokee, right? 37-year-old Cherokee man.
I have absolutely no idea what that's supposed to mean. I'm just gonna go ahead and blow past that one, and we're gonna take a look.
He's not 37. Come on, man. No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
He is.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, really.
I thought that was a joke.
No. He's 37.
Samshrew, you know, you're winning my heart very quickly.
No one says or nah. That's not like over 25 at least.
I guess not. I don't know. My Cherokee response was supposed to be like a joke on top of a joke, but I guess I just
do Cherokees look young?
No, it's just he is okay. Let's abandon it.
I feel like we're gonna insult somebody if this line of questioning
continues. We're gonna keep going. It's gonna be a big mess. So we're gonna just go ahead and cut that off here. Look at the match right now. Sort of guy completed here for Jeff. Feeling got Louder Generation. We do have a shell picked up by both supports so far. The hi-rez Lament is actually gonna be finished by Unique. So he's got full stacks on that CDR, fully capped out there. So a lot of attacks will come out with that aim strike and advantage combination. Of course, more decoys to clear out the way. A lot of aggression here on the right side of the map from Chunks invading the enemy jungle here. Both hunters are locked in internal attack on the left side of the map, so it'll be a 4 versus 4 damage come out. Aurora popping ultimate here, looking for big damage. Not gonna find it. There goes the Geb rolling.
It almost hit Geb's entire shield.
Oh man, what a huge loss.
Yeah, he almost exploded the entire shield of Geb there.
He almost put Geb back to the HP he's already at.
Yeah, there you go. No more temporary HP for you, Rockman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mid lane stealth clearing it out, and this has been a game. It was like super fast paced throughout the first 15 minutes. You had about 15 kills in 15 minutes, and now we've slowed down to a snail's pace. Well, it's starting to get to the point where the teams don't have damage, start taking fire giants, and start really aggressing all over the map here. And there's always a threat with Cog that if they win a team fight, they can make their way over to the fire. The fire giant. And that's really maybe one of the biggest threats of the Giannis outside of his, absurd amounts of damage, is the fact that if you want to fight really anywhere near even the mid part of the map, you can still go for Fire Giant, where many other teams will be forced to go for the run around and just waste too much time.
Sure. I mean, it really does make a difference. Looking at Answer, though, making a difference is going to be that Witch Blade he's picking up right now. That's going to make a huge splash on Cyclospin and Unique, who will need that attack speed, of course, and will prevent the physical damage they're dealing. Not a whole lot of focus on magical protection this side of Cog Prime. You got to make Guardian Mail, you got to let HP, they're on stealth with that sash, so not a whole lot of physical protection engaging there from Chunks, or magic protection, I should say, as they are looking more towards the physical side. So that's going to allow Herwin and Samshrew to really do their business and do it well, especially with that Obsidian Shard penetrating through a lot of what they have.
Doing their business and doing it well.
That's right.
I like that. I like that turn of phrase you had there.
I tend to do it.
Oh, poor Nuwa. She spawned one of her minions inside of the rock wall there. Chunks just kind of continually aggroing the Gold Fury, seeing if they can get a commitment from Cog here. Jeff, too smart for all that nonsense, though, is not taking the bait and is not going to initiate into that nonsense just yet. But let's go back to something you were talking about earlier, which is the pick potential for these teams. And something I want to say here is that Cognitive Gaming's pick potential is really, really dependent on whether or not the Jeff Hinla's ultimate is up on the Geb.
Sure.
Right? Like, if the ultimate's up, he can blink and it ultimately keep him in place, they're fine. They'll be able to get the pick. They have tremendous amounts of burst damage. But besides that, they don't have a lot of kind of gank potential. It's really more of this hyper carry, late game, team fight, extended team fight potential. But unless they're getting like some kind of unlikely situation where there's an Uller Axe and a Giannis Porter involved,
right,
the only real good CC for this stage of the game is going to be the Geb ultimate. Because Zhang Kuei is often going to be rotating into the fights late, where he's going to want to use his ultimate to make sure that use his 3 to make sure that his ultimate's going to be able to tick up. So, if the Geb ultimate's down, look for Chunks to fight anytime it gets used and they don't lose too much.
Well, I mean, you still have like the portal from Giannis, right? But that's more of like a burst style, right?
Oh, he has no blink.
As they fall down, just get the hit there on the portal and try to burst him down. Yeah, he doesn't really have an ult. He doesn't have the ult blink combination. Of course, he's forced into picking up that shell there just because of the amount of damage that's going to come out from Chunks, especially during the new ultimate can help out. Left side, Barrow can take a lot of damage here from Unique. Throwing the axe, going to find it. Crit's coming through here. There goes Nuwa jumping into the fight. But of course, will not be able to do anything with that one. Get on the front here. Frost Breath come out there. Laser Strike. The meatball will land. The backfire comes out as well. The Gold Fury is picked up by the turret and then forced to back off of that one. That will be leashed away. Aurora picking up a Witchblade himself after that Magi's Blessing, so trying to slow down the auto attack speed. And it's great, right? I'm surprised it took him so long to pick it up. You're up against an Osiris and Ull. That is just amazing there. And I love the Emir Geb combination where every time he rolls out, just put him in a wall.
Yeah, that's true.
Just stop the rollout.
Stop the rollout. You can stop the portals as well, fairly well with it. A couple of different things Emir is good against here in this game. Let's also talk about quickly, Samshrew and Herwin both going to pick up a Heavenly Agility, which is going to make it very difficult for Zhang Kuei to guarantee his damage.
Yeah, that's true. Going to get away from the AoE that comes out from Zhang Kuei, but a lot of times it takes like 4 to 5 seconds if you stand next to Zhang Kuei, and even if you get away, you're still going to be taking ghost damage as they're trailing behind you, of course. So a lot of damage that goes there. Plus, the aftermath of the ticking of the exposed evil does make some kind of extended damage there. You don't have to be next to him for too long to take a significant amount of damage, but 31.5 minutes into the match here. We're at 2,100 gold here, 4 Chunks in the lead. That is significantly just 1 Gold Fury, and so we don't really have a major lead for either team so far. Chunks is in a slight lead, and they're in a good position to take a lead right now, but it's hard to call this a lead for any team.
The Chunks are very persistent here at this Gold Fury. This time it's just Jeff Hinla in range. Osiris and Giannis actually committing to the right side mid-camp, so it's a great timing for them. Not sure if they realize it where. They don't have the vision just yet. The rotation's coming out. They know it's coming now. Pinging them out are the Chunks. Aurora going to try to get in front of this fight. Gold Fury actually leads her going on to Jeff Hinla. Anderson coming to the backline, though. He's going to start doing a lot of damage. The tether not going to hit. Aurora going to disengage. Jeff Hinla continuing in, but as you mentioned, no blink, no ability to continually engage there. Anderson going to get knocked back by Herwin. Giannis ultimately coming out. Are they going to be able to follow it up? Taking to the sky is Nuwa. Damage coming out. She is dead to rights. No, actually going to be able to land on the other side of the portal. Unique cuts off Barracuda in the back of this fight. Also look for, well, MLC still to pick up Samshrew there. Aurora going to block out Omega. No more going there. Andy has some trouble from Herwin, though. No more damage coming out. Not going to get the kill, and Omega does eventually tick down Aurora. Under tower is Jeff Hinla looking for the kill onto Herwin. Will find it with a knock, but here's Unique. Does he have the damage? 1, 2, but Geb. Oh, doesn't matter. Even though he's resilient against crits. Well,
not a crit.
Yeah, it's not a crit.
It's not a crit. Loki's passive is bonus damage, not a crit. It looks like a crit. Sounds like a crit. Tastes like a crit. Feels like a crit. It's not a crit.
It ain't crit.
Ain't crit. Ain't crit. Cycle's going to take a damage here. She teleporting on top. Probably ultimate link with damage here. Omega. The damage is going to be too much. He jumps away. No fallout for Omega at all. Omega. Oh, doesn't have beat 3. No beat 3 for him, so no cooldown reduction. Nothing. We'll let that one slide away. We do have a greater Aegis on the side of Samshrew, who also picks up the Heavenly Agility, like you were mentioning. So double Heavenly Agility on the side of Chunks. Weird. I mean, why would they need 2?
They stack.
And why would they need it on Samshrew?
Well, they stack.
I'm not convinced.
They do stack.
Yeah, I'm not convinced.
Now, is that a good strategy? Probably not. And realistically, it's probably Samshrew saying, look, I'll get a sprint 3 like a normal hunter. You know, I need that lane utility. I need to be able in this long lane to get out. But later in the stage, I don't need a sprint 3 that's going to be, I'm spending a lot of gold on it negating in-hand penalty.
Right.
But the AoE speed up's going to be great.
So, helping the team out in that situation, so possibly. Of course, removing the slows is a big part of it. Popping some damage out there is going to be Cyclone Spin, kind of forcing Aurora to backpedal and rethink his life from the very beginning, the inception of his being. The blue
Just rethinking it all?
Here. Yep, he's going back to the core of what he is and what he wants. Back when he was, drinking from the cosmic Norse cow nipple and really kind of drinking down into Yggdrasil and becoming Ymir that he is now.
Now, is there actually some lore in there? Or
Yeah.
The cosmic cow nipple? That's a real thing?
That's the start of all Norse mythology. It's a giant space cow.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Best response 2014. That's going to be it.
That's all I got for you on
Gold
that.
Fairy is going to start off here. It's just awesome. Oh, man. Gab Shielding can prevent Barracuda from taking too much damage overall, but that's going to be a lot of pressure here in front of the Gold Fury. The vision is pretty strong on both sides. All 5 players are present. Who's going to get the Gold Fury?
Well, for now, no one. They're just going to poke back and forth and start tossing out flails. And Sacred Monkeys coming out from the other side as well. And well, it's just it's a lot of standoff here.
It really is. Yeah,
it's a lot of ethnic neutral standing off.
Yeah.
We've already done enough upsetting the people of the world today. But yeah, neither team is really interested in fully committing to the fight. Although I do think that the Loki and the Hunbots could probably try to pile onto someone really quickly and take them out right away. Maybe Omega with only his beads 1 there doesn't actually have a lot of CC immunity.
No, not a whole lot, and it's hard, right? Because there's a lot of CC on the board, so he has to be careful about how he positions himself here. The Heavy Hammer is still standing on Inister, most likely going to be selling that after he picks the 6th item. I imagine Titan's Bait would be next pickup here for Inister, just get that penetration. I mean, that's the main thing he's lacking right now. He's got auto attack increase from the Witchblade as well as the chin size, defense. He's also got the penetration and a little bit of damage there from the boots, but he needs a little bit more here. Jotuns or Titan's Bait would be the next item I would imagine for him to pick up here. Looking at Omega, looking towards last item raw, just scaling out that passive 25% increase to all magic damage is a big component to all magic damage dealers. He's got that Titan's Bane finished off and going into Magi's Blessing. This is going to be the game of bubbles.
Yeah, the Witchblade's starting to come out as well on the other side for Cog. Going to slow down all of that attack speed. But, you feel like a lot of the damage coming out is going to be, coming out to the mid laners here as their effectiveness is going to start to fall off a little bit here, and the physical guy's going to take over. Let's take a look at Stealth and Heroine, who should factor in pretty heavily here. Stealth, in typical Stealth form, 5.3 KDA at 485 GPM. One of, if not the top stats you're going to see in North America. Heroine on the other side, a respectable 2.6 and over 400 GPM himself, but MLC Stealth with the clear and obvious advantage in terms of statistics. But as Naw would say, statistics aren't everything.
That's right. It's all about team play. Statistics are just numbers. Now we toss out there. So we're looking at another Gold Fury attempt, I hope, here within the next 12 to 13 years. They're kind of stacking up here looking for some kind of push, but not really any committal from either team in the last 10 minutes or so, kind of holding on to that early lead. And here's the thing. I'm curious because Chunks and Cog Prime both have a pretty decent late game. They both have a pretty decent team fight. Cog Prime does not have the pick potential, but Chunks definitely does. So I feel like if Chunks was able to coordinate a strike on one person, they would kill them off instantly and start the team fight off right, and it's really up to them to kind of jump on it. But then you get like Cog Prime, they have a really strong counter initiation. Geb showed the right person, Geb ultimate to interrupt the follow-up here and the momentum, and then of course you go into a Zhonghui ultimate, Ul stun, Osiris jumping in, reducing healing done. There's a lot of counter initiation, so this is very much a Cold War between the two.
Well, what are they waiting on? That's maybe an interesting way to think about it, right? Ooh, yeah. I think we're all waiting on that, but realistically, I mean, like, what is there an item that you think that they're trying to complete before they go in? Is it going to be this Ratatouille on Heroine? Is it going to be the Ratatouille on the side of Omega, or finish it up for Giannis? I mean, what's going to? Well, clearly both teams are looking for a pick, but what's going to really tee them off to go ahead and go for it? I mean, eventually here, Samshrew is going to be 6-slotted on Nuon and is going to be doing thousands and thousands and thousands of damage every fight. So. And for that moment, they will be stronger until Anitzer fully comes online with his crit. Right. But for now, he's got to finish off Magi, sell off the Heavy Hammer, and then build into probably a Rage Blade at that stage. And you know, when does the fight happen is kind of the question. Or is it purely just let's just go and find a pick and not fight until then? A little bit of that kind of what traditionally has been a more Asian strategy of MOBA gameplay. This sit back, let the other team make the mistake, and keep farming.
Well, Yuki might be initiating here. This Gebel's been response. Damage coming out. Volkan's going to come down as well. Who's going to hit? He's going to hit the backside and force him away. They will also come down as well. Sam should take a lot of damage. This is exactly what I'm talking about. The counter initiation from Cog Prime is very strong. Herwin's going to get down. And Barracuda is still alive, taking portals away. Sam Shrew wants the kill. There goes the bladed arrow. Needs a volley very close. He needs to kill off Jeff Hinla in the meantime. But how much time does he need to buy? Another kill coming up from Unique, making the plays. But how much does it matter? Triple kill for Andinster. Jumping back in the fight is going to be Barracuda. They're not going to go for the gold here, though. Even Megatron could tank it up here. Nuwa, the only remaining person on the side of Chunks. But again, this is exactly what I was talking about a minute ago and why they were holding off and fighting for so long. There's a strong initiation on the side of Chunks. There's a strong counter initiation on the side of Cog Prime. So, you know, right there, you saw the initiation come out from Unique, poking the target. But at that point, 3 players from Chunks had grouped up. Geb ultimate, Zhonghui ultimate, Zhonghui stun, Zhonghui slow. Immediate stun out for Barracuda, and Andinster jumps to the backline and starts clearing them out. And so Chunks doesn't have a good counter initiation. They're all initiations. So if they don't play it right, it doesn't work out. So I like the call here from Cog Prime. They're going to skip the gold period, go home, heal up, and go straight for Fire Giant.
Yeah, and Andinster are going to be able to just destroy this thing here. And especially with Barracuda putting in that Executioner, pen debuff on the Fire Giant, Andinster's going to do so much damage with that hit chain. And Barracuda also no slouch at this stage. Axe is going to hit. Oh, this is big. Slow's coming out. Here comes a tether as well from Andy. Up into the sky is Nuwa, but it looks like the tether's still attached. Not going to get you the stun, but the burst from Omega is going to be enough to pick up that kill. And Samshire goes down. You think he would be wiser with his 37 years.
Yeah, well, he's not going to be able to pick up that up, but mid tower's going to be falling down. He's going to pretty much give him a free Fire Giant and a free kill and a free tower here as he's down a lot of damage they're going to have here. The problem that I'm seeing right now here for Chunks is, again, they don't have a whole lot of single target damage. They have a lot of AoE and good control, but you know, we have AoE up against a team that has Geb as well as something like a Giannis. It's hard to make that work. Not going to come out there. Hinla looking for some damage here. There's ultimate coming out from Stealth. It's not going to land on anyone, but of course will provide a portal for him to fly on in at Mach 10 warp speed, Captain. And Barracuda thrown into a tower here and take some damage from the Phoenix. The turret is next to the Phoenix here. Gonna try and clear out the wave, but Cog Prime's in control.
But like, I mean, Stealth took so much damage in that last engagement from Unique.
Did.
Like, it was out of control, just the combination of two abilities, and now actually is in kill range as the second meatball comes through, but the Geb Shield's going to come out and deter Unique from moving in. And is this his ward? It is indeed. So he's not staying on top of anything anymore. They're not entirely sure they're going into Stealth now. But Andinster spots him out. There comes a tether right away. Chain slowing as well. Not going to give the stun, I'm sorry, because of Magic's Blessing, but in goes the Geb ultimate. Not much follow-up.
Not much follow-up indeed. They're taking the Phoenix a little bit too long here, freezing out Jeff Hinla. Jeff Hinla taking shots from the Phoenix, dropping very, very low. Nice meatball from Herwin, forcing him back. Yuki in trouble, trying to flank away from his team. Forced to ultimate, and ult's now going to be on cooldown here. Be very careful how they position themselves going forward. There's a Heavenly Agility coming out from Cog Prime, grouping up here, trying to stay away from the poke of Chunks, but it looks like Chunks has successfully defended their mid-Phoenix.
For sure. Heavenly Agility used by Cog there, and they're going to go on the full-on retreat. We'll see if... well, Aurora continues on in, but it doesn't look like he will for now, and Chunks has successfully held it. It looks like Cog and the Chunks are going to take Dignitas and Cog Red for a run for their money and look to get that longest game on record. Will this one go over an hour? Wait and see.
Can this not be a test to see who can get the longest game? That needs to not be a thing. There needs to be more aggressive plays and more intelligent plays that capitalize on open opportunities and really show off the stuff that, you know, it proves that these are the top 6 teams in the world. Deathbringer picked up here by Cyclone Spin. Herwin looking to finish off his last item here. Samshire has picked up a Soul Auriculary, which means he's most likely going into a Soul Reaver at this stage in the game. Looking for the extra little burst, which actually will help out on the ultimate as well. But an interesting build here. On the right side, UT is going to take this tower. MLC Stealth attempts to defend it, but it is in vain.
Let's see what Andy's going to pick up here. He's heading back to the base. He's got a couple thousand gold in hand. He's going to finish the Frostbound Hammer and pick up a red pod.
Oh boy. Look at that.
Wow. Didn't expect that one.
Well, you know, he's like, I'll finish. It's fine. It's whatever. Too lazy.
Definitely expecting another damage focus item, but Andy apparently perfectly happy with his DPS output.
He's got no pen.
He has no pen. He does have an Executioner on the side of Barracuda that'll help soften up the targets for him. But yeah, you're right. And actually a Witchblade on Barracuda here as well finished. It has been for some time, in fact, but
why
more
do you need 3 Witchblades?
Because you really want to make sure they can't attack you good.
Well,
I think most realistically it's because it gives you the MS. It gives you MS and attack speed and physical protection. It makes it just harder and harder for Loki to easily burst you down before you can react, I think is the general idea there.
Yes. You know, That's definitely a possibility. And it also helps them spread out the team fight a little more. If they get scattered, they still have the aura in all nooks and crannies of the leftover team fight. Damage coming out there in the mid lane will clear it out. Barracuda looking for the flank here. Gonna try to run through the jungle. The towers are standing on either side, left and right lane. Tier 2 are still standing for Chunks, and that's going to be about it. 2 towers still standing for Cog Primes. They're tied for towers. Cog Prime's only about 3k ahead right now, so it's not really as dire as you would imagine for Chunks, and that's why they're able to hold for so long.
Yeah, Fire Giant buff really the primary, I guess, place where they are ahead here at this stage. You know, it kind of comes down to either Unique. It's kind of like Unique just needs to initiate right as the get goes in, and if that does happen, it will be successful. And that's what we saw at the Gold Fury fight that the Chunks didn't lose so much damage in, but we'll see. Uh-oh, Barracuda, I think Unique sees him, but they see Unique as well with the Sentry Ward here. And going to go ahead and get counter warded as the mailbox is dropped by the Chunks. Fire Giant back up in about 20 seconds, it appears here. And, well, you can see clearly that Cog is positioning themselves to go ahead and defend it. Now about 15 seconds away. What will the Chunks do as Unique takes a healthy amount of his HP pool there?
I like the commitment to Sentry Wards here from Chunks. They know they're being pushed into their base, and putting the Sentry Wards down makes a big difference. Definitely going to be blocked by another wall there. Going to get shock blocked by that wall, preventing him from going into the fight. Looks like Stealth's going to head home. Anderster's going to head home. Barracuda's going to head home. They're all gone. Chunks has a chance here to go for the Fire Giant, but Jeff Hinla has stuck around. Smart play by Jeff Hinla, realizing that he's got that control, but if they can try and jump on him and do something with it. I mean, Chunks watched them all go home and is doing nothing about it.
Yeah, and back to the Witchblade. Witchblade does provide a physical power reduction of 25.
Does it stack?
I don't know. I would assume yes, considering that we've seen multiple of them build in a lot of situations today. I would say that it probably does stack.
We will need to research this. Because I actually don't know. I don't know if it actually does stack that up. And of course, now, if it's stacking the reduction, would it also stack the attack speed reduction as well on top of players that are in the area? Maybe. I mean, who knows? If that is the case, then Cog has done their homework. We'll see. Aurora taking a lot of damage here. Great Wall will prevent him from going down. The card is ticking down. Of course, not going to do a whole lot of damage to the Emir right now. The Fire Giant is being held up here. Oh my God! Samsher just took a unstable vortex that brought him from 100% to 40% in a single casual throw out there from MLC Stealth. Wow. And
what's going with that range knockup has just been so good. Here comes a fight, ripping through space and time with that big ult is MLC Stealth doing a lot of damage. Her wind just melts there, and now it's a full-on retreat. Barracuda in the backline trying to go toe-to-toe, but he's going to go down to Unique. A overextension from Barracuda there. Not a great play. Right side here, though. They're going to go down onto Aurora. Andy's got him chain slowed, and Stealth is here for the remaining burst damage as needed. Magic's Blessing going to be popped, but it don't make no difference there. And, now it's they're gonna go pile on the Fire Giant. They should be able to take it pretty easy. So yeah, I mean I know that the attack speed reduction does not stack.
Right.
But maybe that physical power reduction does, and they're removing 75 physical power from their targets.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like they should sell their Witchblade and get a late game Market the Vanguard.
go that high rock?
Yep.
Go full high rock on it?
Get that business going. 100 HP, 800 gold. Value.
I'll try to keep an eye on this here and see if we can get a good idea of what's going on with Witchblade. Because Anderster, I'm taking a look at his physical power, and I'll report back.
All right. Well, Fire Giant is being taken out here slowly by Cog Prime. Chunks is in the area, but it's pretty far away. We do know that Aurora is dead because of that pick in the last fight. Of course, not able to stay alive. Cyclospin's in trouble. The car's going to land on top, slowing him down, doing a lot of damage here. Look at the stun on Anderster. Anderster is still in range. Will happen in deep purification because Poppy has jumped away. Can he get this? Ultimate coming out shortly from Anderster, I would imagine. Nope, he does not have Lord of the Afterlife. Looking for a Unique. Unique can assassinate on top of the tower. Looking for some more damage. Good body block there from the decoy. The fog is too slow, mysteriously slow, and looks like Anderster's going to disengage from that fight, but the Fire Giant will be recontinued there from Cog Prime as they group up to take it down. There's not a whole lot that Chunks can do about it.
Very little, but the good news is that Anderster is fairly low. New ultimate coming out is going to do a lot of damage to spot them out, and they're going to realize that they haven't fully committed to this Fire Giant. And Cog's going to take the opportunity to mass recall?
Well,
no, Giannis is here. He does have his ultimate available. Check that. No, he does not. So he's going to get back there the old-fashioned way.
Well, it's going to be rough. The Fire Giant is still going here. The main turn top, it looks like they leashed it away. Very, very cautious from Chunks. They're not really willing to take any risks here, trying to force it all the way, but it looks like it's not really going to work out. 5 members from Cog Prime grouping up. Maybe trying to get a lot of damage there from the Vulcan. Big burst from Samshrew. Jeff Hinla forced away here. The Fog is going to tick on Omega, doing about 120 per tick there. Oh, damage on Aurora. Aurora caught by himself. This is a big mistake by Chunks. They can't let their support alone on this. This is their Fire Giant secure. He's going to go down the left side. Big mistake.
Well, they got to go in on to Jeff Hinla now. They got to get this Hog 3 down. Cyclespin will kill a Megatron, but he'll die for his trouble. And now it's just Samshu and Unique left to defend this. And Fire Giant secured by Cognitive. Their patience paying off.
Patience paying off, indeed. They've looked for the Fire Giant here. There's not a whole lot that Chunks can do. In fact, there's nothing Chunks can do to get to defend it. All they have left is an Assassinate from the Loki. It looks like a Megatron is picking up his Potion and Sentry Ward. The Fire Giant is completed. Of course, that will be done and dead to rights. We cross over toward the 15-minute mark here, Bart. 21-15. Not that big of a gold lead here. The experience is pretty nominal as well, considering how late in the game we are. Almost everyone is level 20 at this point. The only person lagging behind is going to be Aurora here, but it seems like 0-7 on Aurora, not having a great game. Once you take away that Fenrir, and it seems like every support we've seen besides Frezzy that plays Emir catastrophically fails.
Yeah, I mean, 0-7. It's no 0-13, but it ain't what we're used to.
They're too slow to keep themselves alive. They get focused late game, and there's nothing they can do about it. That's what we saw with Trickstank. Kill Trickstank, we get an objective. He can't defend himself.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. But I would say, I don't know if this is, yeah, okay, yeah. You can say it's catastrophic. It ain't working, that's for damn sure.
Well, he's the only person in the game right now who's level 18. He can't keep up with the control of Hinla. Hinla 19.7k across the way, Aurora's 17.7k. So the supports are 2,000 gold behind, even though the teams are only about 7.5k behind. So not really that big of a difference. A lot of it comes from the support. See, 2,000, so you know, about a quarter of the total gold lost by Chunks is coming from the support individually. So a little bit interesting interaction there. Cog Prime looking for the Gold Fury. They're gonna find it. Chunks is their lead is being chunked away here, as we do see crossing towards the 10,000 gold lead for Cog Prime. Fire Giant is down for a while. They're gonna have the buff for another 3 minutes here, and Chunks really has to make a good defensive play.
Can they hold them out of the base? Only one more tower remaining. The push is going to come down the right side. You may see a split to the left, or at least push that wave up here. It looks like Omega's going to shade over that way, but advantage Cog. I mean, we're at the stage now, 50 minutes in. No one has Mercury, so you got to be looking at Osiris as the hyper carry here, but only still the chin size. I mean, is happy with his itemization, sitting on 3,000 gold and sticking to it.
Well, they're still on it.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Okay,
go for it.
So let's scratch that. I would expect actually they're going to push on the left side lane here, which is quite obvious considering they're doing it. But let's talk a little bit about why. This goes back to a conversation that Dry Bear would have had with you guys about this time last week, which is that the reason they're pushing the left side lane here, even though they can take the easy gold on the right side, is because if they get this Phoenix, it's the Phoenix on the opposite side of the Fire Giant, which means you have to leave someone here to babysit it, and their rotation is much, much longer than it potentially would be if you took down the right side Phoenix, which is why you see them grouping on the left side of the map.
Yeah, that's right. Plus, there's no tower there, so they don't have to worry about clearing that out or try to even defend it. So, with the Fire Giant buff, they can pretty much do whatever they want here. Chunks has to fight on a Phoenix or a Titan. They cannot fight in open field if they don't have the numbers to do it. Now, technically, they are... Actually, I take that back. All the difference here is going to be Fire Giant. I mean, everyone's pretty much full build here. I mean, there's no difference in gold. The gold does not matter. We're in that whose line it is anyway situation where it just comes down to who has the better team fight and less about the gold itself. Now, the Fire Giant buff is going to make a big difference. It's going to last, looks like, another minute and 30 seconds or so. So they still have about a minute of free time to use it, see what they decide to do with it, though. And that Phoenix takes some damage. Chunks is trying to defend it, but they need to be a little more aggressive with how they defend it. Imagine more inhibitor walls come out here.
A 3,000 gold defensive pot active right now. Oh boy. He's sitting on 270 physical and 200 magical. Jesus. Quickly
killing Heroin. Heroin dropping low here. Needs a scythe to do it. Tries to backfire to the well, but can't get it. Cyclospin takes out Emil's Stealth in the process. Down goes Barracuda. Down goes Stealth. Down goes Heroin. The Titan is still standing. Looking for Jeffula. Freezing him in place. Damage comes out. Great slow there from Aurora. Jeffula gets body blocked by all the Chunks. The fat Chunks assembled in front of Jeff Hinla, and even the Sex could not take him down.
But it's the right time to make the risk and go in deep like that for Cog. Fire Giant not going to be back up before they respawn. They take the left side Phoenix, and it does force that babysitting on to the Chunks. Let's see how they're able to deal with it. Fire Giant going to be back up here, it looks like, in about 90 seconds or so.
90 seconds indeed. Looking for some kind of win in that time period, right? They can't just let this go. This is their chance to do something. The Fire Giant's not going to be up for another 45 seconds to 50 seconds or so, and we're looking to see what they can do with this time period, because if they don't do anything, they're effectively resetting. Now, again, to reiterate, all players in the game currently are at full build, so this just comes down to elixirs and potions and just good team fight interactions. Because the Fire Giant buff has fallen off of Cog Prime, both teams have the opportunity to win a team fight here. It just comes down to how they engage. If they get a kill here in the mid lane, this would be huge. This would disjoint the respawns of Cog Prime. Good ultimate there coming out from Cyclospin. Look for the kill. Gonna find him. Gonna find Innocent. Everything go down to Deicide yet again there for Chunks. And now those two players are down for 80 seconds while 3 other players from Cog Prime are respawning. Can Chunks actually end this game as it stands? The mid Phoenix is going to fall here. They're pretty weakened from the damage they took in that last fight, but they've got 60 seconds.
They're not going to get the mid Phoenix even.
2 players down for 60 seconds.
They couldn't make it in. No mid for them. And looks like Samsung's going to die here to stealth. Indeed he will. Boom goes to Dynamite. And they couldn't get the mid Phoenix actually. So a pretty poor play from the Chunks.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like they were trying to force it there. And it also seemed like 3 players in the Chunks wanted something, and then the other 2 wanted something else. It just was like, hey guys, let's go for the Phoenix. No, we can't do it. Yeah, we can. No, we
they just
can't.
have no
yeah,
range physical DPS to take down those structures.
Yep. Well, they've got minions. They dash.
They do have minions to dash.
Yeah, they dash.
However.
Pretty fast.
Oh, 54 minutes in, ladies and gentlemen. Have we eclipsed the Dignitas game now? When did that one end?
That is a good question.
Did we make it over an hour?
57 minutes.
57 minutes or so for Dignitas, 54 here. Will we see the longest game on record coming in soon? And I mean, you never expect a game to go this long when there's a Giannis involved. It is not just like over anytime he hits anybody.
Yeah, that is true. That is absolutely true. A lot of late game damage, a lot of control. And I'm wondering right now, honestly, how is this going to kind of transition, right? The Fire Giant's available. The 2 members that died previously, of course, are now respawned. All 5 members on each team are up. 9 ultimates in the game currently. Nuwa is back at the base, so Shamshrew is not there to field defense on the Fire Giant.
Can I buy like a second Rod of Jehudi at this point in the game?
Yes.
That's what everyone's looking for here, but some chip being done by Cog, and looks like they want Chunks to fight them. Ultimate coming in, doing a lot of damage to Jeff Hinla, frozen out by Amir. Can they burst him down in time? Amir ultimate being channeled, coming out. Chunks gets the Fire Giant. New ultimate coming down. They know where everybody is now, and they've done nice damage in this team fight. Anderson going to try to go in and hyper carry this game for them, going toe-to-toe with Aurora and Herwin. Herwin's here with the knockup, but it's going to miss. Anderson doing a lot of damage. Herwin, a lot of trouble now. Barracuda crits coming through, and Barracuda's doing so much damage in the back of this fight, and somehow, once again, Cog goes down on top. No Fire Giant buff to the name, but 2 members down for 70 seconds on the side of the Chunks, and it's a lot of their ability to hold with the Vulcan gone. They don't have great clear.
They don't have great clear at all, and that's the problem, is that they can't actually control this. Cog Prime is going to go ahead and take their win and move back to their base here. The Fire Giant buff, of course, did end up going to Chunks on those 3 members still standing here, and we'll see if they can actually field another defense there for on their left Phoenix. Now, the gold is available. At this point, it's of no consequence, right? You're just looking for maybe a buff that helps you. Obviously, the damage scaling percentage on the damage buff helps. Having a little more movement speed and attack speed from the movement speed helps, but the blue buff's going to be effectively nothing. No heartbeats even be focused on right now. Everyone's got everything they need, possibly. Sam's going to pick up an elixir of power here. You've got potions across the board. We're at the late game stage of the game, and we're looking to see if Chunks can defend this.
We're approaching the point where this is going to be about, this game will have gone on for the average game time of 3 games. We're getting pretty close to that.
Well, look at the duration. Looks like...
Well, let's hold that thought. And let's talk about, mental fatigue here. And these players are not used to playing games this long. No. And you would expect the more tenured team to be performing better in this situation with just more games under their belt. And they are indeed. They've definitely taken over this game since about that 30-40 minute mark.
They're taking the mid Phoenix, taking the left Phoenix, and she's coming after Jeff Hinla. Damage coming after him, Chunks in response. Going through the portal is going to be the ultimate coming through. Going to hit him! He's still with the snipe! Yuki goes down! It's going to force him looking for the kill on Aurora. Won't force him away. Ultimate coming going to knock it away, and Hoonbots ultimate coming through as well. Cyclone Spin is spinning his web, trying to get him off of the Titan, but that was a big pick out from Stealth.
And Barracuda to fall to that ultimate from the Nuwa, but hey, it was worth waiting 57 minutes to see that snipe.
Oh boy. Well, looking at the stats here, Bart, the Dignitas game last night was 52 minutes of game time, which would probably translate about 54.5 when you include the pregame and all that kind of stuff. So we're over that. I mean, this is effectively the longest game in SPL history.
Maybe competitive Smite history. I don't think we have any hour games on record. Even going back to the 500 million weeks of...
I think we do an EU.
Oh, yeah, actually, during the qualifiers.
We have like a 104 or something like that.
We're going to beat that to the pace this one's going.
We shall see. We shall see.
But, man, if you got a carry in this game, you want to go for another hour if you're playing fantasy here. Stealth's going to have a lot of points into this bad boy.
Well, right now, Stealth is 10-4-8. That's the big thing. I mean, he's going to start getting a bunch of points for this match. Same thing goes for Anderson, 6-2 and 15. Some great numbers seeing being seen here from these players. 9-3-4 on Unique, even though this team has been losing. That's pretty respectable as well. Currently, the damage numbers is an interesting thing to talk about. Let's look at that. We see 43,000 damage dealt by the Hunter Nuwa, 47,000 damage dealt by Vulcan in the mid lane, and of course 24k for Cyclone Spin across the way. We do have 30k for Megatron, 34k for MLC Stealth, and Answer at 30k himself. Not a whole lot of damage from Barracuda, but then again, the fights haven't really been lasting that long for him to get that sustained DPS out.
He did really well in the last team fight. I mean, did a lot of damage, and take a look at his overall player damage. As kind of you were mentioning, 22k is pretty respectable, though.
Yeah,
it's just late in the game, and you know we're looking at the real damage carries around the 40 to 50k mark. It's not quite as impressive anymore. In fact, Samsher and Herwin put out a tremendous amount of damage in this game so far.
Well, in 58 minutes, if you do 22,000, that's going to be a bit of 260, 2,630 a minute there. That doesn't even sound like that matches up at all.
What are you talking about?
I don't even know. I'm trying to figure it out. 22,000
damage a minute.
58 minutes. That's 379 damage a minute.
Okay, that happened.
That's the thing.
He hit a meatball a minute.
Well, that's about as much damage as Gnaw does in 10 minutes on Raw. So that's the rough one.
Rough.
The rough one.
Rough.
Jungle is going to be coming to the jungle here. 59.5 minutes in the match here, 26-21. It all comes down to the next fight, realistically, if Cog Prime gets a good win here. One thing to keep in mind is that there's 2 lanes, mid and left, both being pushed up here heavily by Phoenix minions. We do have 10 ultimates available in the game. Chunks are aggressively defending their home here. As you would imagine, the right side tower finally going to fall. That's going to kind of push that one down. And looks like on the left side, Anister's on his own rogue mission, trying to focus on the left side. Phoenix will be responding shortly here.
Coming up soon as well here, and this could be one of those situations where Cog takes the Fire Giant, shoots a Giannis portal, and just go 5-man the dang Titan.
Right, yeah.
I mean, 60-minute mark pass here. Hour-long game is official in Smite Pro League week number 2, and it's the second hour-long game we've seen in as many days. Highly unusual for Smite, but looks like Fire Giant's going to be conceded here as Aurora is just trying to deal with Anister. It's getting so low. The damage is so big. Cyclone Spin may jump over the top here, but the Fire Giant already going down before the ultimate comes out. It's only going to hit 1 there. He's trying to put out his damage, but it's just so awkward at this point. Ultimate coming out from MLC Stealth is going to take him in great position to intercept Cyclone Spin, but he has to use beads to get his second Unstable Vortex out to get that kill. Over the top is going to be a Earthshaker, finally hitting multiple targets, but just so late in the game. A lot of kills going to come for this Nuwa. No, Aegis away, and the Geb Shield, so good. Herwin going down. Not before he takes stealth with him.
Oh, but Unique gets the kill. Fist the Gods come down. Not enough damage though. Triple kill for Barracuda on the backside. A full Deicide. They gotta go for it. They can end it here. I mean, you've got 83 seconds on the respawn for Samshu. It's that late in the game that they could literally go and make a smoothie in the kitchen, come back and kill the Titan.
Hey, a minute-long smoothie, that'd be a good diet.
Pretty good.
Good diet trend.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
They do have minions already plinking away at the Titan, and, well, Jeff's going to just waddle his robot booty in there and tank things up, and you can see just how fast it goes down, and this one is going to be going the way of Cognitive Prime, ending at about 62 minutes here as they burst down the rest of the Titan. Cognitive Prime does take down Fat Chunks Assemble, but not before we go 61 minutes in the Chunks. Nearly make it work with no Hunter. But you got to think, when the game goes this long, that's where they're lacking.
You know, even with a Fire Giant buff and physical pots, Anister had 135 physical power there. He bought Warrior Tabi, and then he went into Chins and
5
Frostbound Hammer.
bajillion.
Only three of his items actually gave him physical power. He did not scale up very much physical power there at all, but a lot of damage there. But see, Anister going to be doing 33,000 damage there on Osiris. That's actually going to be the second most on his team, 4,000 less than Giannis. So Anister playing a fantastic match.
Yeah, and with that hi-rez build all together, still able to pick up a triple kill. And we got another replay of that one on top of his 18 assists. Let's take a look as he is able to shred through some of the chunks here on that Osiris.
Well, it's going to be enough here, popping that slow, going to land on top of him, looking for an in here. And he's taking his time, right? He's got to slow the Afterlife to jump on top and really try to get a single target kill. Go to the backside, looking for someone to expose himself. Here comes the opportunity. There goes the flail, looking for the ultimate going to come out. The stun going to come through as well. Being knocked away, though, but undeterred, still looking for a kill over the wall. Lower the Afterlife going to hit one. Looking for another kill here on Aurora. Aurora's going to drop down here. The damage-based attack from Anister. The flail lands on the ground, looking for the scythe, looking for the hit. There's going to be enough. Third kill, triple kill there for Anister on top of everything else. Unique did the best he can to turn that fight around, but it seems like he is going to be the star of Fat Chunks this last match. He ended that match actually 10-4-4 when all of his teammates were negative.
Yeah, he did. Wow, yeah, that's actually pretty surprising there. Unique playing a very nice Loki. But that, guys, is going to do it for our coverage of game number 1 here. Game number 2 coming up shortly. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a very, very short break so we can grab some water, and then we'll get right back into this game, not keep you waiting too long. We're about 15 minutes. No, we're about 25 minutes over scheduled start time. So away we go. We'll see you in just a couple of minutes with game number 2.